Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. The Uncanny X-Men 202 from 1985. It is part of the Secret Wars 2 event that was going on at Marvel during that time. I am not covering Secret Wars 2. I have covered Secret Wars 1. I have a playlist. Feel free to check it out. And this issue is longer than most. Comic books normally are 22 pages. Chris Claremont, why put 22 pages when you can do 25 pages? Chris Claremont is a very verbose writer here. This is a cool cover. John Romita Jr. and Al Williamson will do the art inside as the X-Men take on the Sentinels. Very cool. And the Beyonder as well. So, we start out with this cool splash page here. X-Men, I've gone to kill the Beyonder, says Rachel Summers. And what this is, it's a holographic image. And so a Stanley presentation, star of the Uncanny X-Men, Chris Claremont writer, John Romita Jr. penciler, Al Williamson is the guest inker. And of course, everybody else is the same. Tom Rozagowski letters, Glynis Oliver colorist, and a sentient Jim Shooter with the editorial. I really like this this splash page. I really like her costume. John Romita Jr. is a very simple dude. He when you look at his art, there's a lot of people do not like him. And he's fast. And part of the reason he's fast is he's not very detailed. He never has been. He still isn't. He's still around. He still does art. And so what this is this image inducer here or whatever. And she's like, I've given this a lot of thought. He is a threat to everything that exists. He has to be stopped. And I figure Phoenix is the one to do it. Wish me luck, X-Men, as Rogue sees this and it disappears. And she's like, I gotta tell Storm. And she says, we got big trouble, boss. And so she explains to her what happened. And Storm says, wake the other and summon them to my loft. And so soon everybody's here. We got Nightcrawler, Colossus, who tore his PJs because he is in his armored form. I don't know why. Magneto is here. Yes, I say Magneto. It's Magnet with an O. We got Rogue. We got Kitty Pryde. Wolverine's here on a robe. And here comes a Storm and a staple of the 80s, these high heelish slippers. Nightcrawler is always in costume. That poor dude is never on a t-shirt. And so, never a dull moment, says Nightcrawler. And Colossus says, this sounds serious. And Kitty says, the X-Men are a team, Colossus. We're friends. Why didn't Ray tell us what she was planning? And Storm thinks here, I lead the X-Men. I should have foreseen this. The responsibility and the blame is mine, as Wolverine smokes his little cigarette. And so Rogue wants to know, we know the situation, guys. So what the heck do we do about it? And Wolverine says, wish the youngster luck, like she asked. And Kitty says, yeah, that creep's done nothing but harm since he first appeared. He's past due for a taste of his own medicine. And Wolverine says, my only regret is that I won't be there with her for the kill, as he pops his claws. You see the snicked. And Storm's like, sheath your claws, Wolverine. Regardless of our feelings, my friends, we must find Rachel and stop this mad quest before it's too late. And Nightcrawler says, why bother, Storm? We've all experienced the Beyonder's power. Do you really believe our young Phoenix can hurt him in any way? And Storm says, perhaps not, Nightcrawler, but she might make him angry. And so Magneto is at his office here, and he's trying to use Cerebro to find her. but he's having issues because if you remember, Chris Claremont reminds us here that he had um, he couldn't he can't make long range stuff. Um, and Wolverine reminds him here, whose fault is that, bub? Gizmo worked fine till you monkeyed with the Earth's magnetics field, so to inhibit long range telepathic communication. Of course, back in the day, you were a bad guy just taking care of business, making sure Charlie couldn't use Cerebro to nail you. Kinda rough, ain't it? Being hoist on your own uh, petard? I don't know. And Magneto says, "Tell me, Wolverine, are you always such an ill-mannered loud?" Suppose I am. Want to make something of it? And Magneto says, "Perhaps in my own way, in my own time." And Kitty's like, "Careful, Logan. I know this is a test, your way of taking Magneto's measure, but he sounds like he's taking your challenge seriously. To survive, we have to trust each other, not hate each other's guts." And so Rogue says, "Can you fix the interference?" He says, "No." Anyway, they do find her in San Francisco, and they're like, "I've never seen anything like this." And Storm says, "I have." And so, of course, because she's very powerful using the Phoenix Force. And Colossus, who is now in human form, says, "Ororo, we have been wrong about Rachel all this time." And Nightcrawler says, "My God, could she truly be her mother's daughter? Phoenix, in fact, as well as in name." So we got the Beyonder in the microscopic area, and yada yada yada, makes a pretty little flower here. And so um, here comes Phoenix. You're gonna see this really cool thing. So he's in Alcatraz, and she's like, "A fitting place, butcher of worlds, ravager of souls, for your execution." And look at this. Looks like an atom bomb being in laid waste to San Francisco here. That is very cool here. But nothing happened. The Beyonder protected himself and that area, even his little flowers here. And so Chris Claremont really I don't know, for some reason he really goes all in for these crossovers. So making sure the X-Men participate in them. So she's like, "How come I didn't do any damage?" He's like, "I would not allow it. I know why you're here, Phoenix, and what you think of me. You are mistaken. I mean no harm." And she's like, "I don't believe you." And he's like, "I know that too." And so she does it again, but nothing has happened here. Of course, she's like, "I can't believe it. He's still alive." And so she tells him that she will continue to try. I love the screen tones. I'm a big fan of screen tones, and so anytime I see them being applied, I shout it out. And so the Beyonder's trying to understand what it means to be human, um, seeing life, death, all that kind of stuff here. And then he takes Rachel and takes her back to her time on her mind here, back to when she was a mutant hunter and being hunted by the Sentinels here. And so, which was covered in Days of Futures Past, X-Men 141 and 142. Of course, she reminds everybody the past, but not my past, not the history I remember. This is a different timeline, one where Rachel Summers can't ever be born. And here she is on her knees here. As I mentioned, John Romita Jr. is very simple. He still is super simple. And there's a couple of videos on YouTube where he's interviewed, and he's like, "My style is whatever lets me draw fastest." So the Beyonder says, "You have seen everyone you care for slaughtered. In a sense, you are the sole survivor of your world, of your race. Small wonder now that you have a second chance. You are determined to defend them at any cost. Shamed by what was, terrified by what yet may be. You deny your own glory. You stay as you are when you could be so much more. I offer you a choice, Phoenix. You may slay me. And she's like, what? Why? My reasons are my own. I hereby grant you sufficient power to do so. Furthermore, I shall not even attempt to defend myself from any attack. And so he gives her all this power. She's like Beyonder Phoenix here. And she says, slay me, Rachel, or save your X-Men. And so she sees the Blackbird and she's like, ah. And so the ship is falling. And so she goes to save it, but it is only Storm for some reason. So, and then suddenly, because again, it's the Beyonder, a Sentinel appears. And so that Sentinel, when I was young reading this, I was about 11 years old, and I was like, I thought there was a base in there somewhere or something, but it's a creation of the Beyonder here. So it's off to get Rachel. So Rachel uses her telekinetic powers to disrupt the Sentinel here, and so she tells him the X-Men are already in the city here, and she asks about the Beyonder. She's gonna go after him. It'll take all her strength. Without me, I'll lay any odds the X-Men are doomed, but I may never get another shot like this. And then she sorry, she I kind of went a little ahead of me here. The Sentinels have popped elsewhere because the Beyonder's doing it. So that's when Rachel's like, I'm gonna go after the Beyonder, but then she says, I can't abandon. And so here comes the other Sentinel, and so this one's going to go after Storm, which is weird because she has no power, so it shouldn't go after Storm. Although if you have the mutant gene, you have the mutant gene, so maybe, who knows. And I always say comic books, let's not overthink it here. She says, Phoenix, do you hear my thought call? She says, loud and clear, Storm. She says, establish and maintain a side link between me and the X-Men. I cannot properly lead the team unless I'm fully aware of what's going on. She says, will do, boss. Any bright ideas? And she says, as a matter of fact, child, I have. And so he catches the Blackbird. I love this here, a little dry brush, a little screen tones, and she's going further up and up and up, and you can see here, she says, we are climbing faster than the space shuttle. The stress on the airframe is far more than it was meant to bear. Acceleration weighing on me, like I'm being crushed flat, beneath a mountain, but I will endure. And so he falls, and so she turns the ship around, and the systems are failing, so she's got to get it down. Here you got Magneto now ready to fight, but the Sentinel kind of puts kind of like rope, a snare. Here comes Rogue. He deals with Rogue. Of course, her clothes are shredded, and these people go to try to catch him, but now they're all touching her. She's absorbing them, and these people are like, oh my god, she's killing them. Get her, she's a mutant, blah, blah, blah. And here comes Wolverine and says, leave her alone, bub, or you'll answer to me. This is a very simple drawing. My goodness gracious, it is so simple. This one, though, is pretty cool as he goes through. And so even though he hits him or goes through his head, he still punches him and knocks him out. And so the robot is going to try to kill Wolverine, but Rachel gets in the way and says, no, I've seen the X-Men slaughtered once at the hands of your kind, Sentinel. Never again. And so she creates a telekinetic shield while she attends Wolverine here. She uses the Beyonder's power to help heal him, and then takes him and Magneto with her. And again, she's shielding all of them, and says, Wolverine, cut Magneto loose. He thanks them, and Rachel says, Magneto, we're not the only ones in trouble. Other X-Men are fighting a Sentinel uptown in the Castro district, the Storm. And Magneto says, your sonic projections provide a most graphic picture of her plight, Phoenix. But before we do anything, we must remove the local citizenry. Oh, what a word! From harm's way. And so she's like, you actually care about ordinary people? Says Wolverine. That is a change of heart. And Phoenix is like, give the man a break, will ya? And Magneto says, for better or worse, my friend, I am an X-Men and will play by your rules. Yeah, that won't last long, but that's all right. Story for another day. And so everybody's running their way as she uses kind of her psychic powers, and so now it's her and the Sentinel here, and she's going to allow Wolverine to cut loose, and that is what he does here. And once the Sentinel goes down, here comes Magneto, and let's see here. So, the Sentinels, I guess, self repair, but Magneto's gonna take him, and so he's using his powers here, which creates kind of like a, I don't know, like a tornado, and there's snow. It's just kind of weird. This is a very weirdish issue here, but eventually, Rogue uses her super strength to destroy it, and there's still another one here, and he's got Colossus, hits Colossus with this lamppost here, and he's about to squash Colossus, but you can see Kitty's Pride's hand go through. He brings him down, and then the Sentinel's gonna go through and get it, but the Phoenix ends up getting it. I'm sort of narrating a lot in this issue because this issue, it's all right. It's really a crossover event, so I mean, it's there's not much happening except the X-Men sort of fighting. So here comes Colossus. He takes his own lamppost and hits him, but let's see, it goes through it, and so when he lets the pole go, and that causes a short circuit, and then here comes Phoenix to finish him off, and all done. And so finally we get to the last page here, and Phoenix, here's the Beyonder, and Phoenix comes here, and she says, I hope you're satisfied. It'll take the X-Men days to repair the damage done by this lousy fight, but we figure it's the least we can do for the people, the city we inadvertently terrorized. And Beyonder says, the X-Men are alive and well, Phoenix, thanks to you. Rachel, you saved them. And then she slaps and she says, I saved nothing. You gave me the power to set up the situation. You created the threat. I was a little better than a toy, a puppet, prancing around for your amusement. And he says, I sought to restore your inner balance, to expunge your guilt so that you might become one with yourself, as I hope to become with mine. And Rachel says, it isn't that easy. You don't just give somebody that knowledge. And then she kind of goes, if it's to mean anything, if we're truly to learn to grow as individuals and species, it has to be earned. You may mean well, you may mean the best, but all you've done, all I think you'll ever do is harm. And so, next issue, the final showdown between the X-Men and the Beyonder in Crossroads. So, as I mentioned, it's an okay story. I don't think that it's anything to tell your mom about, but it's all right. There'll be really good stories coming up. So, Uncanny X-Men 202, Chris Claremont, John Romita Jr. with Al Williamson. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening. Goodbye.